Kristen's Corner. If you haven't guessed, my name is Kristen. Today I will be showing everybody how I make my watercolor roses. And this is just an example. I know it's a little hard to see with the glare. They look a little complicated, but they're really not that bad. They're more abstract looking than realistic looking. I don't know what kind of watercolor set y'all use. You can pretty much use any kind that you are familiar with. I've gotten a few from Michael's, and I'll go over all the ones that I do have and which ones I definitely would suggest. I'm still a beginner. I hope that if you're watching this, you're probably a beginner too. If not, you probably know how to do all these things already. But I will go over my favorite one, and it's really not that expensive. I say not that expensive because it lasts quite a long time. This I got a few months ago, and it is my favorite. It's from Mozart Supplies, and I will put the link in the section below. So yeah, let's get started. Alright, I hope everybody can see. I have my watercolor. Alright, so this is just an introductory to watercolor roses or watercolor in general. If you've never used watercolor before, awesome. It's really a lot of fun and a lot easier than people would think it is. The beauty of watercolor is even if you mess up a little bit, you can always add some more water and kind of thin the paint out and kind of fix what you need to do. Alright, so the way that I do my roses, or flowers in general, most times I like roses because they're kind of abstract looking. Let's see, we add a little bit of water. I usually like to start off with water because most of these are very, very dry and they actually need water. You can't just paint right away. So I'm going to do a blue one so that y'all can kind of see it. So add a little bit of water. I kind of do it a few times so I have a nice little bit of color on my brush. And to start, I start in the center. So I just kind of do like this weird little shape, but it's kind of like a little smile. And then I'll take my brush again and I'll kind of go around that. So it kind of looks like the petals are kind of folding around each other. Just a weird shape. I know, it looks really weird. So what I'll do is get some water on my brush. You don't want to overdo it with water because then it'll start smearing a lot. But you do want a little bit of water. And all you do is kind of trace along the bottom, around the sides. And I like to move my brush up and down a little bit because it kind of helps get the water and that paint smeared in a little bit together. And then, so it's always on the outer side. You want to do it underneath here, you would do it on the outer side of that shape. So I know it's starting to look kind of weird, but it's because we're not done. If you ever want to go back and add a little bit of color, just add a little bit more blue in there and go for it. Alright, if you want, you can still go with blue, but I'm going to actually make my color change a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of purple. So all you do is go around the outside again. And it doesn't have to be this perfect shape because they're more abstract looking. Alright, so I'm going to add my water, and then I will add my paint. Alright, the further I go out, the less paint I use. So as I get a little bigger, I don't really get more paint. I kind of just, kind of push those together a little bit, kind of overlap them. But then my next one, I'm not going to use as much paint. I'll just kind of go around and around. I think that's good. I know it looks really crazy. Alright, so let me go ahead and do another color. And a lot of times it's not going to look great until you have leaves on it or a few more flowers. So I'll do my little shape. Get a little bit of water, go around the edges. And look, if at any time you are confused or you have questions, please feel free to ask me. I've only been doing watercolor for maybe about a year now. I'm still learning a lot. There's a lot that I cannot do, so feel free to ask questions. Let me get a little bit less water. Alright, so we have two. I'm going to do one more. I love the color combinations of like warm and cold colors, or cool colors. I love purple, pink, and blue together. It's one of my favorites. I think they just complement each other so well. that y'all are either trying and that it's coming out great, or you're just watching for fun. Either way, this is my first ever tutorial, so I still have a lot of ways to go too. Alright, and there are my few flowers. And then for leaves, it's also kind of similar. They're not like going in a circle as much, but for leaves, I just grit one color. My favorite color to use is, it's called grass green. But all I do is kind of draw like this leaf shape like that. Get a little bit of water, kind of color it in. It's just like coloring it in. That's really about it. And then I'll go over here. Add one. Maybe right here. Two right there, so it doesn't look too symmetric. You can always go in with this other color, like other colors, and kind of blend them together. I'm not that fancy yet. And then maybe go ahead and add a little bit of like vines. And you can do like a little bit more water. Do a little vine out with a leaf. These are very simple. I've seen videos where people try to do tutorials, and I myself get a little confused, not because I don't know what they're doing, but because it's kind of hard for me. I'm still a beginner, so I still have a lot of ways to go, like I said. So hopefully as a beginner, if you are a beginner, this will help you a little bit, because I'm not doing too much of like blending with colors and kind of just sticking to the basics. Alright, so as pretty as I think it is, I think it would also be really pretty if I go ahead and add a few rose buds. Those are the easiest thing in the world. So I'm going to do a purple or a violet one, maybe right here. So it's really just kind of like a little rainbow. Rainbow shape. And then I'll kind of draw a little line in the middle, or whatever. And then maybe I'll do one up here. So this violet rose. So it's kind of like a W, but I'll let it dry for a second. And then I'll go back in with a little bit of water, just to give it a little bit of depth. And then I'll go ahead and add a blue one, maybe right here. Oh, actually I'll do it right next to that one. And here. And then all I do is take some of this green, maybe add a little bit of a leaf underneath it like that. Not a leaf, I cannot think what they're called. Pretty. Alright, maybe add one pink right about here. That's not pink, I used purple by accident. Alright. So that is just a vague introduction. If you think there's too much white, you can always go back in with a little bit of water. Oops, I have green all over my brush. Go back in with a little bit of water. Make sure your water is clean, because mine apparently is not. And kind of just fill it in. It should be kind of dry now, so when you fill it in, it'll just kind of be kind of like a light blue or light pink or light green. I mean a light pink, light purple, light blue. But I hope that if you are new to watercolor, that you've learned something. If not, I must be doing something wrong. So if you think I need to work on anything or have any suggestions, please feel free to let me know. Thank you for watching Kristen's Corner.